Hello, my name is Michael, and today I'll be going over everything you need to use to help you study for the Hesi A2 for nursing. First thing I'm going to go over is the score sheet. This is what the score sheet looks like. This is my score sheet. I got a 90.33 on it, so I did very well. So I do know what I'm talking about, and I used a lot of sources for the test, websites and books and videos, and I'll go over every website and everything that I used, and I'll put all the websites and the videos in the description so you can check them out. Even for the ones that I don't recommend, I'll put them in so maybe you can check them out if you want. It's up to you. Now, a little about me. For chemistry and reading comprehension, those were my weakest subjects, so I feared taking those in the test. I feared that I would get a bad grade on both of them. And my strengths were math, biology, grammar, and vocab. For the personality and learning style, don't stress those because those are very easy. There's no right or wrong answers. They're very short. The only thing I would say for them is account for the time. You only get 4 hours to take your test, and you do have to take those 2 sections, so keep in mind the time with those. Also, I want to apologize in advance if this video is very long. I'm really sorry, but I have to go over a lot of things for those people. Now, I know what it's like to study for the Hesi. When I was studying, I was looking at all different websites and videos, and I didn't really there was a lot of things that were just unnecessary, so I know what it's like to study for this Hesi, and I know a lot of people are stressing over this, but just relax when you take the test and get a good meal and get a good night's sleep before you take the test. And another thing is I started studying January 1st. Now, I took my test March 23rd, so I had plenty of time to study for my test. As the first advice I can give you is, well, the most important advice I can give you is start studying as soon as possible. A lot of people wait 2 weeks before the test before they start studying, and you just get away with passing scores, but some programs, such as mine, only accept the top 80 students. So definitely start studying as soon as possible. You want to get a good score in the Hesi. You want to get a very high score just to show them that you're a good student as well and pass. Now, the first book that I want to get into is, I don't have it with me, but it's called the Hesi Admission Assessment Exam Review. It's the 3rd edition by Evolve. Now, it's color coded and it has Hesi hints, and the great thing about that book is it covers everything. It covers all the basics. It's definitely by far the best book to use for the Hesi. Now, for the math section, it covers everything. The only thing with the math is it doesn't cover word problems. Now, if you have problems with word problems, definitely look into an outside source because there will be word problems on the test. Now, for vocab, it covers everything. Basically, all the words are going to be in the book, pretty much. There's going to be some outside words, but that's for every test that you take. Now, for grammar, it covers the basics, but do look into past perfect and the perfect tenses like past perfect tense and future perfect tense. And also, when you're taking the practice questions for the book for grammar, when you get something wrong, look why you're getting it wrong. Try and find out why you're getting wrong and practice it, and just keep practicing until you get it right. Now, for the science courses, for chemistry and biology, it covers the basics. It covers the general concepts that you need to know. However, the thing you got to look out for is it doesn't cover everything. If you have to try and find, if you're struggling in these areas, try and find an outside source, like maybe a Chemistry 101 textbook if you can get your hands on it. If you want to pay for it, fine, but those books are very expensive, but if you can get your hands on it, that would be great. I'm not talking about the introductory to chemistry or introductory to biology. That doesn't cover all the information you need to know. From my experience taking the test, a lot of information comes from the college, like 101 course textbook, I believe. And so definitely look into those. For reading comprehension, for the book, a lot of it is health. There's a lot of health medical readings. Now, believe it or not, it can affect you. I got so focused into that book, reading the medical, and when I took the test, there wasn't any medical readings, so it's more broad, it's very broad, like an SAT type test. So definitely try and find outside sources to practice reading comprehension. Now, that book I definitely recommend the most, so definitely get that book. If you have to buy it, buy it. If you can find a way to like rent it, try and do that. Next book I want to get into is this book. I don't recommend this book. Let me put it again so you can actually see it. I don't recommend this book because there's a lot of errors in this book for math and the grammar and all of it, and the vocab. It doesn't compare to the Hesi. It's irrelevant information. The only thing good about this book is it's just those extra practice questions for grammar and the reading comprehension and the math. It has word problems, but you gotta look out for that. The answers might be wrong. So I really don't recommend this book. I don't think it's worth the money to buy. The next book I want to get into is this book, the Momorichics, or whatever you say. How do you say it? I don't know. This book I don't recommend either, and the reason I don't recommend this book is because it's too lengthy. It's too much information. When I was reading the reading comprehension section, it was just too much, and for the science sections, it wasn't enough. So I don't recommend this book. It does have some practice questions that are good, but I'll talk about those in a second. The other good thing about this book is the suffixes and prefixes. It does tell you a lot of them, and that's kind of helpful for the test. That does help you out. So if you want to get that book, you can, but it is pretty expensive, but I don't recommend that one. I do recommend this one, though. It goes with that book. It's all the practice. It's like 3 practice tests for it. I do recommend this book because it has a lot of practice questions, and it has practice questions from the book I just showed you as well. It doesn't, and it has the reasons for them too, which I like. And the only problem with this book is for the 3rd test, I believe. It covers, it's the 3rd test, and it covers too much details. For example, for the biology and chemistry section, it's just too out there. It's irrelevant information, so look out for that. But I do recommend this book. You can get it on Amazon or eBay. It is helpful, and you don't even have to write in it. Just write in a separate book, and you can just buy this book and then sell it after you're done. But I do like this book. It was helpful to me. It's just those extra practice questions. Just keep taking them, and they're very helpful. Now, those are all the books I have that I wanted to go over. Actually, no, there's one more. For the first book I told you about, for the Evolve Admission Assessment, the 3rd edition, there's actually the 2nd edition I rented from the library, and they're pretty much the same for the information wise, but for the chemistry section they did have different questions. So if you want, just rent it from the library. It's free to rent it from the library, and it's just those practice questions that will help you for the test. Now, the first website that I want to go into is testguide.com. And I do recommend this website. And the reason I recommend this website is because if you're weak in math, vocab, they have unlimited questions for you. For the grammar and reading, there's limited, but these questions do help you. And they even have unlimited anatomy and physiology questions, so maybe that'll help you out as well if you have to take it. But I do recommend that website. It is helpful. Another website I want to recommend as a side note is Quizlet.com. They do have flashcards and practice tests that you can make of the sections, like for chemistry and biology, so maybe check that out if you want. I'll put all the links of the websites in the description. The next website I want to look into is testpreppreview.com. Sorry, I can't speak English. I don't recommend this website. No, actually, this was the website I would recommend. It had the grammar and that I used a lot from. I didn't really use the math, but I just used the grammar, and it was very helpful. Some of the questions go pretty too far, but it's just those extra practice questions that are very helpful. The next website is hesi2.org. I don't recommend this website. I only use this website for biology and chemistry, which was not helpful. It went too far in detail, and I did not like that website at all. I never tried the math or any other sections for this, so if you want, you can check them out. There's another website. It's called allnurses.com. and it's just a blog, but it has a lot of reviews of the Hesi A2 that you can check out people's reviews and responses to them, and other study methods that you might want to try if you don't like the ones that I used. So you can definitely try it out. Another website that I used, let me try and figure out what it was called. I believe it's vocab.org or something. Let's see. It's actually vocabtest.com. I really like this website because it has pretty much all the vocab words you need to know, and you can also make the practice test and just keep taking it and taking it and taking it again and again and again. Just memorize it, and you can get a good score in your Hesi. Now, those are all the websites that I used for the videos. Now, the videos, I pretty much used YouTube. And what I used on YouTube was, there's a channel or a guy called Bozeman Science, and I loved his videos because he has like a playlist for chemistry and biology. I'm not talking about the AP chemistry or biology, I didn't look into those, but he has the playlist, and they're very helpful. They show you how photosynthesis works and the nuclear reactions and chemical equations and all that stuff that you need to know for the Hesi, and it's very helpful. Now, those are all the websites and books that I used and everything that I used. As a side note, if you have any questions about the Hesi, you can just comment on the video and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And hopefully you guys get a good score in your Hesi as well. Again, just start studying as soon as possible, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Again, for the science courses, just try and get an outside source maybe if you're struggling, and hopefully you guys do great. This is why I made this video, for the people who struggle in certain subjects but are really passionate about nursing. Hopefully you guys get in. This is why I made it for you guys. Also, what I'm deciding to do, as another side note, is when I start nursing school, I'm going to try and make a video a day of everything I learned and everything that happened to me that day. It's just life experiences, and I don't think I'll be able to do it every day. Probably every week seems more likely, and maybe you guys can check that out, and hopefully maybe it'll help you with nursing school as well, but that's in the upcoming months. But good luck with the Hesi. It's 4 hours long. Get a good night's sleep, eat well, don't get stressed out about it. When you're taking the sections, don't breeze through the test. Take your time. For some people like to double check their questions in math. I do too, but also it takes up a lot of time, so keep your eye on that. Try and take a break during the sections. Also, start off with the section that you do best in. Like for me, it was math, so start off with a section that feels comfortable and you know you're going to get a good score, so you start off positive, and try and save also for the last section something that you could just breeze through even if you're running out of time. And good luck with the test, and again, if you have any more questions, just comment in the video, and have a good day.